Hello students, this is CA Pragnesh Kanabar, your audit faculty for CA Inter and CA Final level with a proper analysis video of November 22 CA Inter audit paper. So you see the paper over here as issued by the institute for November 22 exams. And this is complete breakdown of the answers where you can find it and what were the correct answers according to me. If there is any query with respect to the suggested answers which I have given over here, then you can download my app from the below given website and use the chat box to have a conversation with me, or you can also email your doubts at theauditacademy@gmail.com and I will be very happy to solve them. So students, without wasting time, let us get on the discussion over here. So November 22 inter-C audit paper, yes, I would rate it as 70% manageable, and little bit of 30% or maybe around 35% of paper was a little tricky. Otherwise, largely the paper was manageable in comparison to July 21. Why I am using July 21? Because that was a difficult paper. After that, what we have seen December 21, my God, May 22 was also very difficult. All right, and in comparison to May 22, this November 22 paper was a little manageable. All right, May 22 students, I can feel your pain. I can understand the paper was difficult. Okay, so with respect to this question number 1 over here, which is correct or incorrect, you have to answer any 7 questions, 2 marks each for those questions. So they give you around 8 questions over here, and out of that you have to answer 7. You know the paper pattern for the students who have attempted. For the students who haven't attempted, please have a look at this video very carefully, and for the students who have attempted, please do not keep any anxiety. कोई परेशानी मत रखो, आपको anxiety मत रखो. Alright, सब कुछ ठीक ही होगा, don't worry about it. Okay, so as you can see for question number 1A, in an automated environment, the relationship between the application controls and general IT controls over IT systems are not interrelated. Of course it is interrelated. All right, the general controls like server controls, all right, or controls over the password, this and that, which is applicable to all the systems, obviously it will have an impact on the application controls also. So the statement is incorrect over here. Okay, and where there are 2 columns. This is for my in-house students because we had more than 1,000 plus students who were giving the exams. So this is for the in-house students to understand where it is covered in my book. Regular course book references have been given. The points are also there in fast track course book. Don't worry about it. And here this is for pan India students to understand the references. Acha, my whole video will be largely in English so that North India, South India, everyone can understand. In between, little Hindi will be spoken just for the sake of simplification. Okay. So question number 1B. Historical financial information relates to financial information based on assumptions about occurrence of future events and possible actions. No. Historical financial information is something that has already occurred. So your financial statements. Alright, again it is incorrect. So this we discuss in essay basic concepts. It is exactly there in chapter number 1. Okay, and I have given module reference also over here. Okay, then auditor shall assemble the audit documentation in audit file. I've always said that essay 230 and the discussions of audit documentation, few paragraphs of SQC1 inside that is always important. Even in my revision videos, even if you had seen my Brahmastra revision videos, all right. So in those videos also I had talked about this. So auditor shall assemble the audit documentation in audit file and complete the administrative process of assembling the audit file before the date of auditor's report. No, it is within 60 days from the date of auditor's report. So again incorrect, and you have the references over here. Okay, very happy to say that all the questions were covered in our discussions, whether it be regular course discussion or fast track course discussion. All right, and around 85 to 90% was also there in my Brahmastra revision videos, which is there on YouTube. Okay. Then where a firm is appointed as auditor of a company, the report is signed only in the personal name of the partner. See, partner's name is there, but the firm name is also there. All right. So this is not a correct statement, and that is why again incorrect over here. Yeah. And I have given the references. Okay. Then the term analytical procedures means the evaluation of financial information through analysis of plausible relationship among both financial and non-financial data. All right. So this is a proper definition of analytical procedures about ratios, comparisons, trend analysis. All right. So we evaluate financial, non-financial data. I had given examples also to students like salary and total number of employees and stuff. So this is correct. This is SA 520 definition, and in module reference also I have given over here. Then a company should disclose in its annual report the shares in the company held by each shareholder more than 10% shares, specifying the number of shares held. Okay, so everything is almost correct in this statement, but the percentage is not correct. All right, so it is there in my chapter 9 notes, audit of various items of financial statement, and in module reference also it is given over here. All right, the percentage is not correct. Okay, so you can see the references. Then as per SA 240, primary responsibility of an auditor is to detect fraud and error in the financial statements. No, that is the responsibility of the management. Auditor is here to express an opinion on the financial statements. Okay. Auditor's secondary objective can be to detect fraud, but not the primary one. I think this every student would have got proper answer. So this is incorrect. Okay. And we have it over here also with you. Next, Mr. T, the director of A Limited, has purchased an old car belonging to the company against the cooling equipment belonging to the director, which is given to the company as consideration for the car. The auditor is not required to include this in his Caro report. So this is basically about the non-cash transactions, yeah, of Caro 2020. So this is exactly clause 15 of Caro 2020. This was not expected that they will ask at inter se level, because this section of Companies Act, all right, this is taught at final say level. But okay, I can understand that one question they would like to keep it a very tricky one. All right, but even if students had studied the head point of clause 15, then also this point was covered over there. Okay, but this question surprised me at inter se level, because the whole law part is not taught at inter se level. Next, question 2a. Question 2a. S and company chartered accountants are appointed as auditors of ABC Limited. CAS, the engagement partner, has come across following while verifying equity share capital of the company. He noticed that some of the equity shares are held by promoters, some shares are issued as sweat equity shares. This was expected. This was expected. What is the meaning of sweat equity shares? What are the disclosure requirements of such promoter or shareholding? So this is everything from audit of items of financial statements. But even if you have not done that, and let us say अगर आपका company law का knowledge अच्छा है, all right, then also you can write this particular point. Okay. So I had shared this PDF of chapter 9 audit of items of financial statements on my YouTube. I had written short notes and I had shared it with the students. So within 10 pages or 5 to 10 pages they can cover everything. If you had done that, then fine. If you have done it from some other professor, also fine. But this was always expected. Yeah, it was also there in the RTP. So this was expected, and students are expected to solve RTP. Okay. Then question 2b, CAP is appointed as an auditor of XYZ Limited for the financial year 21-22. The management of XYZ Limited has requested the auditor to change the terms of the original engagement, as the company has diversified its business and few new products have been introduced by the company. Can CAP agree to the request made by the management? Under which circumstances can the client make a request? So whenever they talk about changes in the terms of engagement, if there are valid reasons for whatever contract we have signed, if there are valid reasons, then we can change. Otherwise, we will not accept the change. So that a very short answer was required to this particular line, whereas 3-point answer was required for this particular line. Under which circumstances client can make a request. So client आपको बोलेगा कि why will client ask you to change the terms? All right, CMR, either there are changes in the circumstances, or there is some kind of misunderstanding, or they want to put some restriction. So it was a clear-cut 3-point answer. All right, so you see it over here. I have given the references of my textbook. I have also given the references of the module. All right, so that this PDF is accessible to all. This PDF you can find it on my Telegram channel. The link is there in the description. You can also find it in my mobile app in the study material section of the app. So don't worry about it. Okay. Then next, question 2C. Okay. What are the matters that auditor shall consider while designing an audit sample? I think straight away they picked it up from the module and they've put it over here. To design an audit sample, what are the points to be considered? The purpose of the procedure, the characteristics of the population, all right, defining what will be the tolerable error and all that. So I think the students would have cracked this particular point. These are not my markings; these are the markings from the website where I downloaded this particular PDF. All right, okay. So you see over here SA 530 sample design. If you see my point, it is covered over there. Okay, and in the module also clearly there is a paragraph of sample design. Inside that you will find it. Okay. Then question 2D. In an automated environment, general IT controls are policies and procedures that relate to many applications and support the effective functioning of application controls. Correct. For example, controls over a server. अब server के जो controls होते हैं, all the applications run on that server, so those controls will be general IT control. So let us see what they are asking. All right. Well, there are multiple controls called as general IT controls. One such area is access security. In any application for security access, there are some defined controls. What is the objective of access security and what are the activities included in it? So this was a very detailed question. It's like they asked a question on a sub point. Okay, normally access security is one of the sub point under general IT controls. So I had marked this as important in my automated environment video also. But if students have seen that, then it is fine. But normally I've seen interest year or final year students not very much interested in the automated environment topic. So I think this particular thing students would have found tricky. Otherwise, if they apply, even if their EIS knowledge, then also they can solve this. Okay. So it is there in my textbook also, and module reference is always given over here. Then next, question 3a. The objective of auditing is to design and perform audit procedures in such a way as to enable the auditor to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence to be able to draw conclusions on which to base the auditor's opinion. This can be obtained by performing which procedures? Okay. Name the types of audit procedure the auditor can perform. So you had to talk about risk assessment procedure, further audit procedure, and all the audit techniques, inspection, inquiry, observation, and all those techniques. You have to explain techniques in short, and you have to talk about these procedures, and then you get your 4 marks. So this is always an important question. I'm really hopeful that many students would have written the correct answer over here. Okay. Then next question 3b. Messrs. SS and Associates have been appointed as statutory auditors of Green Limited, a company engaged in the business of manufacturing of hardware products. They are analyzing the monthly trends for other expenses like rent, power, and fuel. This question has been asked multiple times in the past papers, always an important question. All right. And are also verifying attributes of such types of expenses. List down the attributes for verifying such expenses. So rent, power, fuel वगैरह expenses verify करने के लिए what are the points? The documents, the bills, the accounting, all right, those things, the amount involved, those things you are going to check. Okay. So the earlier question, chapter 3 audit procedures, and this chapter 9 PDF, you will find it very clearly that I had covered this point and I had written it in 2-3 lines so that students can catch the keywords. Okay. And then I've also given the module reference over here. But audit of items of financial statements in my YouTube video also I told you, and I am repeating it again and again that always has an impact of around 10 marks. Okay. Next, question 3b. Okay, done. Question 3c. While auditing books of accounts of Solar Limited, you observed that an amount due from a debtor for invoice issued on 31st March 22 has not been recognized in the books of accounts. As an auditor, you want to ensure that all trade receivables balances that are supposed to be recorded have been recognized. जो record होना चाहिए था वो actually record हुआ है. So basically you are worried about completeness, that there should be no omission. कि कुछ omit तो नहीं हुआ है ना, there should be no omission. Okay. How will you achieve the stated objective? So see, you can see that trade receivable balances, whatever needs to be recorded has been recorded. You can go for confirmations, you can see the documents, alright, you can see the credit sale invoices, you can see main thing is that 31st March 22, so cut off. So whatever was supposed to be recorded in that particular accounting period has been actually recorded and there is no omission. Okay. So for these things you can see the invoices, documents, confirmations. There are so many things that you can write over here. So to give you the exact set of points, in my PDF I have given this clear heading, audit of completeness of trade receivables. That particular set of points were asked, or if you see the module, then it is over here. Okay. Next, what is that question? 3D. Okay. A Limited has traded for rupees 50 lakhs in Tetra, a virtual currency, and this was there in May 22 also. They repeated this in November 22 also. So May 22 amendment list, this was there, and again in November 22. Virtual currency during the financial year 21-22 and earned a profit of rupees 20 lakhs. What disclosure requirements are prescribed? Let me tell you. If you couldn't answer this question, your fault may not always be of the audit professors. We can give you the notes and stuff of disclosure requirements, but there were changes in the accounting schedule 3 also, alright, and all of these disclosure requirements were included. So if you were updated with your knowledge of accounts, then for sure you would have understood this, because this is very clear about notes to accounts में लिखना क्या है and क्या क्या disclosure requirements होना चाहिए for virtual currency, cryptocurrency transactions. Okay, so in my PDF also, the revised PDF which I had uploaded on YouTube channel, it was there. I had asked all my students also to read it. I am so hopeful that they would have done that. And in your module, it is on this particular page number. Okay. Then next question number 4A. Z Limited is a manufacturer of ready-made garments. During the year 21-22, they have opened two new branches and there is a substantial increase in their sales. The management has appointed CAR to review the internal control system of the company as they feel that there are lapses in the control environment of the company. What is included in control environment? One of the favorite questions of the module. All right, module ka questions is the copy paste, they have put it over there. So even if you have done the questions which are given in the back test or knowledge questions, you are in a position to, let me tell you, you are in a position to attempt at least 50 to 55% of the paper just by doing those selected questions. All right. So control environment is the work culture which is implemented by the management and those charged with governance. So this is there in your chapter 4 SA 315 concept under the heading of components of internal control. And what will auditor evaluate in order to obtain an understanding of the control environment? So I have given the point number references over here also. Next, question number 4B. HMB Limited's business has grown from one state of India to various countries of the world. Since the business has increased manifold, the management decided to appoint joint auditors for conducting the statutory audit of the company. They appointed three CA firms for which audit work joint auditors will be jointly and severally responsible. Everyone knows joint auditors mein there are only three important points. One is joint audit planning. Second is the responsibility division where they will be jointly responsible, where they will be separately responsible. And third is at the end report mein agar report banate waqt if there is a difference in the opinion then what to do. These are the 3 points that are supposed to be done whether you are at inter-CA level or final-CA level. Correct. So then it was expected that if there's a joint audit question, it has to be from these points. So for which audit work, joint auditors are jointly and severally responsible. We're already done with that. Okay. Common areas of work, common conclusions derived on which there is a common agreement. Yeah. Okay. Then question number 4C. ABC Limited has many divisions and branches across the country. They have an internal control system which is well established and maintained by the management on a regular basis. Explain the meaning of internal control. My God, super questioning from chapter number 4 and all hot points. So it's not like a chapter 4 में बहुत अंदर से पूछा and stuff. It was very clearly the head points they have asked. Meaning of internal control and also state the benefits of understanding the internal control. So meaning of internal control is the definition that you write. All right, and which is there in my revision notes, fast track notes, regular course notes, everywhere. And also the benefits of understanding the internal control system. All right, 3-pointer answer over there. So you easily get your marks. As per SA 520 analytical procedures, what are the examples? Examples. In SA 520, you have definition, you have examples, you have various techniques, all right, and precautions to be taken, factors to be considered, and at the end, investigating the results of analytical procedures. These are the only points which are, the critical points of SA 520. And I'm so happy that from the important points that I mark in the lectures, they have asked the question from there. After teaching for almost a decade now, so obviously I will gain that particular experience of what are their favorite questions. So examples of analytical procedures having consideration of relationships. So ratios के examples लिखने थे, alright, like gross margin and sales, they have a relationship, alright. So something like that. Okay. Then next question number 5A. NG Limited appointed CAN as the statutory auditor for financial year 21-22. Previous year's auditor gave a qualified opinion on comparative financial statements for the year ended 31st March 21. My God, this question was very difficult at financial level. At inter-CA level. I'm so sorry. At financial also this is rarely asked. So it was expected कि one or two questions तो ऐसा रखेंगे. Otherwise students may, some students may end up scoring 100 marks. Okay. So comparative financial statements. So current year, previous year, they have two column. All right, they are talking about the previous year column, and that also in the audit report you are going to give opinion on current year as well as previous year. This is not something which we can discuss in 5 minutes. This is there in my SA 710 video. In SA 710, I teach students three things: audit procedures, corresponding figures, and comparative financial statements. And I clearly give them chart for comparative financial statements. Students who have studied from me, they know that this is the question from the chart of comparative financial statements. But normally 710, I have seen that inter-CA में थोड़ा option में रख देते बच्चे, they give it in option. I can understand the workload on your head, and that is why I really don't know whether students would have actually written this or not. Okay. Now question number 5B. Messrs. RAP and Company, a firm of chartered accountant, has three partners. Mr. A, Mr. R, Mr. A and Mr. P. Mr. R is also in whole-time employment elsewhere. So Mr. A and P do not hold any audit in their personal capacity or as partners of other firms. The firm has currently statutory audit of 40 public companies. This was, I think, copy-paste of module question. They are offered statutory audit of a public company. So you know that 20 company assignment limit is there for each particular partner. But in this case, Mr. R is in whole-time employment. So in the name of Mr. R, it will be 0 on it. And Mr. A and P can hold 20 companies. In that we count public companies and private limited companies with paid up share capital of rupees 100 crore or more. All right. So not a problem. So you have to explain the ceiling limit. All right. Now you see a little smart work, I should say, or a little not so good work. So they have asked question from company audit, and that also one of the favorite questions. But they have put it in question number 5, where A is SA710 and B is company audit. And so A is something that is not studied by the students, and B is something that is their favorite. All right. So the point is that in order to score this 4, will you lose the other 4? All right. So Institute was trying to play it a little naughty over here. Okay. Question number 5C. Question number 5C. CAM is the engagement partner of S Limited. He has instructed his audit team to maintain proper audit documentation. The audit team members are not sure about the purpose for which documentation should be made. What are the various purposes? Very simple, all right. Assisting the team to plan, direct, supervise, all right. So what are the purposes? Team can be held accountable, then or to finish off audit efficiently. You can write so many points, okay. Then it can act as a future reference. What are the various purposes for which we maintain audit documentation? There's a clear code word that I give to the students for this. It is there in all my notes, whether it is revision notes, whether it is fast track, or whether it is, regular course book, everywhere it is there. Okay. Next, question 5D. You notice a misstatement resulting from fraud or suspected fraud during the audit, and conclude that, again, module copy paste question, chapter 5 fraud ka. It is not possible to continue performance of audit. So if you want to withdraw, you will have to first check whether it is legally permissible. If it is legally permissible and if it is appropriate to withdraw, find out what are your professional responsibilities. You'll have to fulfill them, discuss the reasons of withdrawal with management and those charged with governance, and then you can withdraw. So these are the 3 points that normally we write, and you get your 3 marks for this. Okay. Again, it was marked as very important by me for the students also. Question number 6A. Again, it is from Caro 2020. Okay. And look at this 6A. They have given you A, 1 or 2 as option. So one is from straight away Caro 2020. It is about, look at this, utilization of the funds. And I have given the references over here. Again, I'm not showing you the references that I have given, because this document you can access and you can see it, over there online. So I've given the exact clause reference of Caro, and where you can find it in my book, where you can find it in the module also. Okay. The next question 6A. PQ and Company Chartered Accountants have been appointed as statutory auditor of Multiplex Cinema Limited. So normally question number 6, audit of banks, audit of different types of entities. These questions are expected. Audit team started audit and verified the ledger and other books of accounts for the financial year 21-22. However, one of the team members is of the view that internal control mechanism of the company should also be verified. Can you guide the audit team about the areas that will be covered in verifying the internal control mechanism? So how do you verify the internal control mechanism, and what are the areas? So very simple. It is your multiplex cinema. Now main internal control is over the tickets that are to be sold, and for that, what will be the system? So it should be serially numbered. It should be, all the records need to be maintained. Okay. So those things are over here. Internal control mechanism, cinema hall, where exactly in my book and where exactly in the module. Okay. Question number 6B. Card Limited is into banking business and handles large amount of loans and advances of different kinds. Non-performing assets are on the rise since last 2 quarters. The management is concerned with correct provisioning for the same. So NPA in case of audit of banks is always important. All right. CAR is appointed to check whether correct provisioning of NPA is being made by the bank or not. What aspects will be verified by CAR? So you should know that in case of NPA, that substandard asset, doubtful asset, loss asset, what kind of provisions need to be maintained. Then what will be the provision on the income? Income ka to pura reversal ho jayega, which is accrued but not realized. And in case of provisioning, what will be the percentage of provisions? Okay. So those are the points. And then along with that, you have to give some references of the documents that need to be verified, and your point is done. But we have this clear discussion of audit of banks, NPA provisioning. Okay. And specifically in audit of income part, you will find those points over there. Then look at this question number 6C. CA Sevak is appointed as an auditor of a municipal corporation of a big smart city. He wants to verify expenditure of municipality. On my YouTube since last 12 to 14 months that video is there, and from there itself you can see this. Define the term municipality, audit of local bodies. Yeah. Define the term municipality and state what are the heads under which expenditure incurred by municipalities and corporations can be broadly classified. So clearly there are few heads that are there of the audit of expenditure in case of municipality, and वो clear points है, you write it, you get your marks. Okay, heads of expenditure. Then next question 6D, BAN LLP is formed during the year 21-22. They are not sure about the types of books of accounts to be maintained. What are the books of accounts? So audit of LLP का जो topic है under audit of different types of entities, you will clearly find the books of accounts. It is like company only, purchases, sales, asset, liability का records, and those things need to be maintained. All right. So it is very much similar to Companies Act, the books of accounts that need to be maintained. All right. Again, these are not my markings. This is not section 129. This is 128 के अंदर है of Companies Act, but you don't have to give reference of Companies Act. So this is books of accounts of the LLP that need to be maintained, but the definition is very much similar to Companies Act. That is why I think the student has written this. I don't know kiska marking hai ye. Okay. So acha, student has calculated some marks also. But I really hope that this student clears the exam, and I think the student will. Okay. So everyone, as I told you, 70-30 ratio that I found with respect to MCQs, what we have is only news, correct? Because students told me that the MCQs was a mix of essay and non-essay chapters, correct? It was not like clearly inclined towards essay or clearly inclined towards non-essay, but for MCQs what we have is only news, because institute के MCQ publicly published नहीं होते हैं, they are not published on public domain. So I really hope all the best for the results, and if you already given, if you have not given the exams, then you know what kind of paper it was and how you can prepare. At the Audit Academy, which is a dedicated institute that I have only for audit subject, my whole life is dedicated to audit subject. You can enroll for various courses. You have options of Hindi, English, regular, fast track, everything. All right. Even if you don't enroll, you want to have a conversation, you can download this app and you can have a chat with me, or you can just solve the MCQs inside the app for free. All the best. Take care.